Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking NBA headed out west where the Suns are taking on the Lakers. We've got a promo code. The code is March for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Lakers home favorites -1.5, total of 215.5. Suns enter 22 and 11, both straight up and against the number. Meanwhile, we've got the Lakers 24 and 11, 16 and 19 against the spread. Lakers have struggled a bit without Anthony Davis and Schroeder, but Schroeder's back, and the Lakers have a big win over Golden State after beating Portland as well. Meanwhile, the Suns coming off back-to-back wins over Chicago and Minnesota. We've got Nick from the Insider's Room who's absolutely killing it in his picks lately, the top capper on picksparlays.net for the year and for the month. And so we're hoping to keep going. Nick, what do you see in this one?
We knew the Lakers were going to be good this season, Chelsa, but I don't think many would have predicted that the Suns were going to be quite this good. Chris Paul, he's been a really good fit with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. He's moved past his injury, and he's really a force to be reckoned with most nights. As you mentioned, the Suns, they come in on fire on this one. They've won 8 of their last 10 against the spread. They lost to Charlotte at home last week, but they've since won back-to-back games over the Bulls and Wolves. So not the strongest of teams, but they held each of those teams to under 100 points. Now, the Lakers, as you mentioned, they've obviously been struggling without Anthony Davis, but they did get Schroeder back there. And LeBron James, he's been making adjustments. He's been trying everything he can to get the Lakers some wins. And they do. They have the back-to-back wins. They have the decent win over Portland, but then the big win over Golden State, who had been really hot up to that point. Now, LA has also held its last 2 opponents to under 100 points, and it's got back-to-back wins. Now, I expect sort of a more wide open game here, though, Chelsea. I'm going with the over in this one. I think this number is a little bit too low. And my reasoning behind that one is because James and the Lakers, they have a road game the following night in Sacramento. So as far as sort of this situational standpoint, I just don't think that they're going to hold anything back on the Suns on their home floor on that night. They're going to just give everything they have. And so that's what I'm expecting, a faster paced game. And you know what? A faster paced game, invariably, it leads to more shots, and more shots leads to more points. And so, that's going to be my call on this one, Chelsea. I'm going with the over.
Yeah, I think DeAndre Ayton should be able to put up some points here because Anthony Davis is missing, because normally that's one of the Lakers' strengths is down low, and especially defense. Anthony Davis is a guy that usually is in the talks for Defensive Player of the Year. So without him, I think DeAndre Ayton has a good night. Chris Paul probably going to be able to feed him pretty effectively. And then on the other end, I think Schroeder being back is a big help for the Lakers. I know he's not Anthony Davis, but at least their offense looks like it can at least put up some points, because without Schroeder, they were struggling to even score because LeBron cannot do it by himself. No matter how good he is, he needs some help. And lately, the bench has been playing at least. There's been some guys scoring in double digits. You see Dennis Schroeder, 12 points last game, Markieff Morris, 13, Alex Caruso, 13. And granted, some of those were coming in a blowout. So maybe I shouldn't harp on that too much. But any feelings on a side here, or you just like a total?
I kind of like the Lakers here, actually. Just to sort of correlate along with my play on the over, I just don't think they're going to be holding anything back with that Sacramento game the following night. This is the first time that these two teams have seen each other this year. I mean, LA, everyone hates LA. LA has to deal with everybody's A game every night they play. They want to beat the defending champs. And so that's the downfall. Whoever wins the championship the following year, everybody wants to beat you every night that they play you. And so in this one, the only thing is that James and the Lakers, as you mentioned there, they had been on a long slide before they got back Schroeder. They've won these last 2 games. And so, I just, if they had been on a long win streak here, I probably would go with Phoenix. But no, because of the game the following night, and because they had been on that recent slide, I'm going to go with LA to come in focused, to keep the foot on the gas from start to finish. So I like the over, and I like LA here.
Yeah, if the Lakers continue to play a little bit better, because it's kind of like riding the wave. And at one point, the Lakers were, hitting rock bottom when they got blown out by the Jazz. But now they've got a couple of wins, a couple of covers, more importantly, And it looks like, like I mentioned, I think Schroeder being back helps at least keep them in some of these games. And I think they should be a little bit better here. And it is a short number here. So it's basically if they're going to win the game, and they are at home. So that's going to do it for our NBA talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great stuff, as always, from Nick from the Insiders Room. Nick, thanks for joining us.